Take it away.
Okay, I'm done.
Welcome to Spartans 2 Podcast of all of your favorite Halo podcasts, part of the Radio M Gaming Network. I am your host, Drew, and with me today is Krysta.
Hi.
And El Davidad.
Hello, people.
His name's really David.
Is it?
It's not David Dodd.
Could be.
All right. Well, we missed you guys last week, so we thought we would just bring you the biggest, baddest, bestest, shortest, most compact, full of everything episode possible. So it's the end of the month. It's the end of February, and that means it's Halo Book Club. I feel like we just did one of these. Man, February is a short month.
Yeah, that flew by.
Stupid February.
Dude, what are you doing February?
Leap years.
But because next month is, well, this month, wait, is today March? Is today March?
It's today March. I don't know. Yes, it's the first. It's the first right now.
So, because we're entering into March, which is officially the Podcast Evolved ODST month, or Hell Jumpers, we are going to do the book club on Dirt, the short story in Halo Evolutions about some ODSTs, yo.
Dirt.
All right, well, let's move on to the main topic of the week. Or of the month, actually. We're doing a short story for the Halo Book Club, and that is Tobias S. Buckell's Dirt from Halo Evolutions. So, without any further ado, Krysta, why don't you tell us a little bit about this story before we get started?
I have to read the whole synopsis. I can do it.
I wrote it. That's what it's there for.
Right, I'm going to read it then.
Okay.
Story is told as a flashback between a rookie ODST, you know. Rookie.
God damn it,
An
Krysta.
injured ODST named Gage. Gage pretty much tells his life story, basically. And I lost my place. Okay, there we go. His life story and how he got into the ODSTs, and his friend Felicia, who decided to join the ODSTs, and after being rescued from a rubble of a nightclub, and then they get separated, and then they meet again. And
Could you please slightly sound less interested in this?
Okay.
Krysta, you are butchering my beautiful synopsis that I wrote
Krysta,
this morning for you.
Krysta, you're fired. David, why don't you tell me a little bit about the story Dirt from Halo Evolutions?
You got everybody how it should have been done. So, Halo Evolutions Dirt is a short story by Tobias Buckell, who has written various other things like the Cold Protocol. And this particular story is told as a flashback between a rookie ODST and another ODST.
Go on.
Sorry, named Gage Yevgenny.
It's
Gage
Yevgenny.
Yevgenny, there we go.
Yeah.
And he tells his whole story through a flashback to the rookie based up to the events of what has him landed now, because rookie comes across him in a crashed Pelican. So he tells the story of how he was from Harvest, he didn't like being a farmer anymore, he had an argument with his dad, so he left, joined the CMA, which is the colonial military at the time. And
that's not what A stands for. It's not at the time.
Oh, sorry. No, I didn't mean Shut up, Drew. Colonial Military Authority or something
You're
like that, I
butchering
think it is. Shut up, Krysta. Only because Drew fucking ruined it. I had a good flow going there. And
all right, so
essentially,
he goes into the CMA.
He goes into the CMA and he meets his buddies, and then he meets a girl named Felicia and another guy named Eric, and they pretty much bond over like the whole we're from these crappy planets, but now we're not. Now we're in the military. We're learning. We're doing things. We're not just farmers anymore. So essentially, kind of one of the main plot points of the story is that they go to they're fighting innies or whatever. They're protecting and they're doing riot control, and the whole kind of Connolly is on a kind of but this is a racist podcast, Drew. Everyone knows that. And they essentially go to a nightclub, but it's kind of funny. They steal a Hornet and like fly to a nightclub, which is just seems ridiculous. And like they go in, and the innies detonate a terrorist bomb. I don't know. I would say in the car park, there's
What are you
probably
talking about?
Hornet
Wait,
spaces.
wait. You guys
Wait,
don't
wait,
remember
wait.
flying to the nightclub in ODST? Or
Oh,
was
yeah.
it? And
Oh,
in
Reach.
ODST, you fly to the or in
Yeah,
Reach,
yeah.
yeah.
Reach.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
fly
Yeah.
to the nightclub
And they have
where
those nice little like helipads outside
all
for
the
landing your.
all the Covenant are like dancing and stuff.
That's very
You have
cool.
to actually have to find a secret button, and
yeah,
then they're
you
dancing.
turn on the nightclub. Yeah, isn't that goofy? All right.
That's
anyways,
pretty funny. So, anyways, terrorists blow up the Innies, blow up the nightclub. Sorry, and then
If it's someone's at the door.
I know.
I think
Should've
it's
plugged it
Jeff.
out.
I think he's mad.
Oh no,
he just
No.
texted me. Apparently, he's in Canada. I don't know. He's missing
That's
all of this.
that's his fault. Stupid Jeff. Anyway,
I told
the
him
nightclub.
we were talking
Blow-
shit.
That's okay. Making up lore again, and they get pulled out of the rubble by the ODSTs, which hence inspires the group to join the ODSTs. So I'm going to skip ahead in the story. So 22 years go by, and like the friends are split up through the ODSTs, and they go and join different units, and the whole war takes them all over the place.
Right.
So the story goes forward about 22 years as
Basically
Gage
turns
is
into Starship Troopers.
pretty much exactly like that's actually a funny kind of throwback to it. And
Yeah.
there's a line, it's actually mentioned there's a line in ODST, and there's also Starship Troopers where they come to join the ODST and it's like, oh, more meat for the grinder, eh?
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
like a line directly from fucking Starship Troopers. So
the movie, not the book.
the movie, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
And so you go forward in time, and Gage is now a very kind of hardened veteran Marine. He doesn't make any friends, doesn't talk to people. He's just not interested at all.
Well, I made friends. They're just gonna
Yeah.
die on you.
And then he meets his new friends again on a planet, and they're retreating again from the Covenant. So he gets brought back up to the ship, which is the UNSC Sherez, and then they meet together. And this kind of results in them coming up with a plan again of kind of where the main story now comes into effect of what they're actually trying to do. So himself and his friends, which is Felicia and Eric, who they met before, and I think 2 or 3 other ODSTs who used to be in the CMA, have decided they want to get out of the UNSC and
Right.
ODST troopers.
That's their big thing, right?
This is their
that's what
big
they
thing,
Keep talking about is they want.
they're very disfranchised with the whole UNSC and
Right.
the way that things have worked with the outer colonies being destroyed. So they've decided they're going to be deployed on this planet to recover some Covenant artifacts. But they're going to go on their own little side mission because they've identified it as a bank nearby. So they're going to go in and raid that bank while the operation is going on.
Hold on.
Go
Hold
for it.
on. Did you ever see Three Kings?
That is hilarious because I was going to mention that. So this is essentially the story of 3 kings.
It is.
So they anyway.
Did they shoot?
have
Did they
to
shoot a
plan.
cow?
Did they shoot a cow? Moa might die somewhere along the line. I'm
they,
not sure.
they shoot a moa and it explodes. All right.
So they get down onto the planet, and the plan is going well, and they're
Yeah.
shipping out the gold, and then they bust open the last vault, and they find a school teacher and a bunch of kids inside trying to hide
Oh,
out.
that's
Covenant.
right. Yeah.
This results in a standoff between Felicia and Gage and the other ODSTs of what they're going to do about it.
Right.
So Felicia's kind of in charge. She says they're going to call in more Pelicans and evac these troops.
Yeah.
But the other ODSTs don't want to do that. They think, fuck these guys, we're going to take the gold and run.
Sure.
So they end up having a fight.
As
They
you do.
shoot each other. They shoot each other, and everybody fucking dies except for Gage, who gets shot up but still alive.
Yeah.
He decides he's going to run. He takes the Pelican, and he takes it and flies off with it, leaving some of the other like corrupted ODSTs behind. He flies off with the Pelican full of gold, and he comes up with a plan in the middle of the flight because he's hearing now over the radio of kind of evac orders where the ODSTs on the original mission have succeeded, stolen the artifacts from the Covenant, and the Covenant are now chasing them. So he lands the Pelican, takes the artifacts, and then drops off some of the gold, and just tries to do a legger, trying to get the Covenant away from all the troops and the kids
Yeah.
and everything that's going on. But then he gets hit by a rocket, friendly fire. So he's
Why?
assumed. We don't actually know, but it's assumed in the book through the character of Gage that it was the ODSTs he left behind who still wanted the gold.
Right.
So they shoot him down. He eventually crashes the Pelican because everyone knows Pelicans crash constantly.
That's
All the
what they're
time.
looking for. Yeah.
They're good. So Then cue in the beginning of the story as the reinforcements arrived and the rookie shows up and meets Gage. Gage then proceeds to tell him the entire story I just told you, and he says
Tell it
on
to
top
me
of that.
again.
Now, I should do it in order. All right, so then Gage tells him, "I have a Shiva nuclear bomb right beside me. You better start running because once the pop is so up,
after I tell you this whole story."
Yeah.
And then he just notices the bomb. He's like, "Wait, how long has that been there?"
So there's a story. He picks up the bomb when he picks up the artifacts, and so he essentially waiting for like thousands of Covenant to show up and his corrupt ODSTs coming after him to get the gold.
Yeah.
So the rookie drops all his gear and legs it up the top of a mountain. And when he gets to the very top, massive explosion happens. And Gage has obviously set off the Shiva and killed everybody because everybody dies in Halo.
This is one of my favorite stories in the Halo universe.
It's really cool.
Easily. Just because even though it's like feels like Starship Troopers mixed with Three Kings.
Pretty cool.
I love it. It's like all the characters, Felicia and them, I mean like they all have relationships, they all have character within themselves. They all have like unique attributes. And then it's written so intelligently to have I mean it's kind of like it's so old school, like hey soldier, stop for a minute, let me tell you this story, and then that's the whole story, like he's telling you the story.
It's cool where it leaves off though, because you have no idea that it leaves off like right then.
Right before, and even then, like the Pelican comes in, picks up the rookie, and then the pilot says, "We have orders, we're going back to Earth. Reach is hit, Reach is gone." So this pretty much leads straight into Halo 3 ODST. And it's kind of funny, like fantastic. I have my notes there. I just kind of followed up on if this is the rookie. Oh, it is the rookie. So I went down to the Halo waypoint and found out in like the rookie's kind of bio entry inside, it actually says it's the Mount Haven incident. Mount Haven was the city where all this was going on. So it's the rookie's report on the incident that Buck read and said this guy has honor, respect. This rookie, this is what he did, and he says, right, I want him in my squad. So that's what leads to him, the rookie, joining the Alpha 9 squad. Buck reading.
So fucking cool.
That's so good. It's just a cool little just that little paragraph just ties those two things of content together. It's kind of wonderful. It's really cool.
So does it go straight into ODST after that?
Well, the pilot says, "Hey, everyone's retreating back to Earth now because Reach is fucked." So essentially, there could be some time in between now and then, because obviously
that would mean that's the rookie's second mission.
Pretty much, it's kind of ridiculous, yeah.
Well, the first one, all he did was talk to a dude.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So his first mission was he dropped. He ran up to a guy and goes, "What?
Hey, guy."
And he listens to him, and then he runs up a mountain, and that's it.
And then his Shiva nuke explodes in the background, and then he flies to Earth.
So maybe he gets maybe that counts. Maybe that kind of counts as an assist. So he gets like 10,000 Covenant kills as an assist, and they're like, "This guy's fucking baller. Get him on our team."
Assist apocalypse.
Assist apocalypse.
Assist Manjaro.
Yeah.
Please no.
So,
assist friggin' believable.
That was bad.
Jeff, take notes.
Hey Jeff, can you please add this into the next game?
All right.
I'll send you the audio clip.
I hope you're taking notes.
We have to assume that more people than Jeff are listening to this show at this point. We can't just.
They haven't told us though.
I like the idea of someone tuning in and not knowing who Jeff Easterling, Grim Brother 1 is. And just thinking that we're recording this whole show as if we're talking to one guy.
Alright, isn't this show just for Jeff? This is the Jeff show.
Welcome to Halo Podcast Evolve, dedicated to a guy named Jeff. We just do the whole show to him.
Can we redo the theme song and be like, Jeff? Jeff?
Okay, alright. I just like the idea of a podcast being like a bunch of people talking to one person, as opposed to one person
Jeff,
talking to a bunch of people.
All right, I gotta actually bail. This is kind of hilarious, though. This is great.
Okay, all right. Well, thanks for the research, David, and
no problem.
We'll catch you next week, dude.
Have fun on your train.
Stuff. Yeah, whatever. Thanks, guys. Ciao, everybody.
Bye.
Take care, dude. So he's gone.
Oh man, thank God that guy's gone.
I wanted to ask, the usual questions like, what'd you think about Dirt? What were some of the things that stuck out to you overall?
I definitely, probably the more interesting part of the story for me was the beginning when they were talking about the training missions, because I think the training missions are just so interesting in the Halo universe with like the paint that like freezes on them and stuff like that. So I really enjoy those like training exercises where they're like, you have to go up this mountain to have fun. I like that one.
Um, in some of David's notes, he points out that Gage is rescued by a Spartan at some point, and
Yeah,
that like breaks his image of the ODSTs being like the pinnacle of of the military.
yeah, it was God, I don't remember exactly when in the book it was, but it was definitely during that period of time where he was quote unquote like a zombie and he was just kind of floating through everything.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he's like, "Oh, well, I'm screwed now." And then Spartans show up and they start shooting shit up. Yeah, and then that kind of and that you kind of get to see the birth of the ODSTs definitely having a lot of disdain and hatred for the
Yeah,
Spartans taking their
they definitely
place.
resent the Spartans, and I think I think it's got to be rough for the ODSTs at the beginning when they don't really know what the hell Spartans are, because
Yeah.
I mean, it was still pretty classified, and they didn't know that there were kids kidnapped and raised and blah blah blah. I mean, like it's always interesting how like in the Halo universe they handle that just little discoveries like in what is it? What's the Halo Legends
Halo
uh,
Legends.
with the girl, the Spartan,
Oh, the
and she's with the
ODST.
ODSTs.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, I forget what it's called, but
but the
I
the
think my
way
Halo Legends thing is right here. Let me go
the
look
way
at
the
it.
way they react when she takes her helmet off and it's a woman and they're just like whoa, and it's and I think it's a bit of the cliche whoa that you would get in anime where you're like oh it's a girl whoa like that
Yeah, that happens
stupid
all the. It's cute.
anime thing, but sure I guess
Yeah.
but it's also I mean I think it speaks to that like when you look at Spartans a lot of people see metal and they see mechanical uh infallible thing and then you get that moment where you remember that there are people. um there is oh what was that, is it the package?
The package is the one with Hot Halsey.
No, not okay, not Halsey. No, we're never gonna talk about that.
No more Hot Halsey.
She doesn't count. um I wanted to what was it's like it's live action and it's got blue team and they're sitting there with their masks with their helmets off and you see and they're like children.
Oh, is that at the end of
What is
Forward
that?
Unto Dawn?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I was like what is this from? I just
I
have this
love that
image in my
scene
head.
because then they take off their helmets and they're like the exact
They're
same
the same
age as these
age.
young
Yeah.
kids and they're like, "What?"
Yeah, and they're just looking at them with like just wonder, just like what the
How
he's
old are you?
yeah, I think he says that. He says how
Yeah,
old are
he
you?
asks them
And they
how old they
say
are and they
that's
say it's
classified.
classified, yeah.
Like I fucking love that. I love the like air of wonder and mystery and confusion and fear that you get around the Spartans, and it's got to be such an interesting time there when they first start kind of getting onto the scene and ODSTs have to like their pride is so put in check. Like
Yeah. You have to share
their
the
like
spotlight now.
brash approach of just like running along the gates of hell with a stick just ding 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 like fuck you and like just they're the way that they feel like they're impervious and ODSTs really think that they are the best of the best, and that's I mean that's something that's bred into real life Marines, and then you got to take it up a notch because now they're ODSTs, and then you see a Spartan just come in and manhandle shit, like flip over a warthog with their mind bullets.
Flip over a tank. They're like, hey guys, I did it.
So I thought that was really cool to have in the story, that kind of moment, and especially for a character like Gage, where he's already, like you said, he's just wandering through. You know, he's just so affected by everything that's happening to him, and this whole conflict in general, and then just to kind of have him like pushed down in the dirt when he's already down. Haha, get it? I said dirt.
It's just dirt.
It's a really interesting choice. There's a lot of stuff that like I was saying earlier is a little cliche here, but
like at the very end where he's like, it's not just dirt.
I just mean like I mean, it was really easy to point out like, hey, this is just like Three Kings, or hey, this is just like Star Troopers or whatever. Like, I've always loved that about Halo, where you can easily draw ties back to its influences, but it's something unique.
Yeah.
Like, it has its own thing, you know? Spartans are very much their own, like, Halo's device, and when you hear Flood, Covenant, Halo, you know, these words, you know, it's just, it has its own identity, but it's drawn from stuff that's very obvious. And I think that's a sign of like it's a really good franchise when your stuff isn't too alienating. Like, it's a really good story when your stuff is like relatable. Like, oh yeah, you know,
yeah,
there's some country people from some backwoods planets, and they join the military, and then they all bond because they're from similar backgrounds and stuff, and then they all form this plan together, you know what I mean? And they go through this period where they're split apart, and they hate that they aren't around each other, and like everybody can relate to
Felicia
that.
was really mad at him, Gage, for the longest time.
Didn't she feel like he abandoned her, or abandoned them or something?
Well, it was when it was announced that they were going to lose Harvest, and she was really mad at him because he always just called it, oh, it's just dirt. I don't really care about that planet anymore.
Yeah. Dirt. It's our dirt.
It's all our dirt. It's where we live.
All right. So, any other things that you wanted to kind of observe here before we wrap things up?
I think Dirt did a really good job at putting a very meaty, very good story in like 100 pages.
Right?
It's a short story, but I mean, it does a lot.
Yeah. I would agree. I think that's one reason I like it so much is, you know, I'm a shitty reader. I read really slow, and I wanted to be able to enjoy a great story without having it to take months. And Dirt is a really perfect example of that. So if you haven't read it, like we said,
now the whole thing's spoiled for you.
Yeah, too late. But do check out Dirt. It's in Halo Evolution's Volume 1, I think.
Yeah, it's in Volume 1.
And it's a really, really good story. And I'm going to go check out the Halo Helljumper thing that David was talking about after this.
He posted it on the Facebook group, so...
Yeah.
Facebook.com/Drusifer Halo.
Oh, yeah.
Check it out. Join us.
Yes. Please go join our group. You can learn more about Podcast Evolved and the Rated M Gaming Network at ratedmgaming.com. That's R8DMgaming.com. If you want to find our page, it's ratedmgaming.com/aboutevolved. And somebody asked me recently to drop our gamer tags again. So my gamer tag is Drusifer space rated M, R8DM. And Krysta, what's your gamer tag?
My gamer tag is ConanXD, KONAN, capital X, capital D. And if you put an underscore after that, that's my Twitter. And then David's is Canine Cerberus.
Yeah, it's all one word.
Yeah, CANINE, capital CERBERUS.
Yeah, because that's easy.
Yeah, Canine Cerberus. And he's at Arneed3, so
Arneed.
ARNIED 3. Arneed.
Arneed
That's what it's like.
Yeah. Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Drew_Freeman85, and I highly recommend you following at Podcast Evolved on Twitter. We could really use a lot more follows on our Evolved Twitter. It's not super active because I have to like man it myself, but
I can start posting stuff.
yeah.
You can just take
Uh,
posts out of the group and just post it on the Twitter.
Yeah, that's actually something I was planning on working on. We try to do game nights pretty regularly. We have co-op Tuesdays, and sometimes we try to throw together some throwdowns on Fridays. Um, be on the lookout for that calendar this month. I'm really gonna try to put it together for really reals.
And if you just want to find someone to play with, just hop on the Facebook group and say, "Hey, I'm gonna play some Halo 3, which is broken right now, so we can't play it. But I want to play some Halo. You want to play? Yeah." And someone will be.
Customs are always fun.
Yeah.
And if you don't have an Xbox One, you don't have the Master Chief Collection and stuff like that. We have plenty of people who are still playing on 360. We got games of Reach and ODST and Firefight and all that stuff going all the time. So if this is your first episode, feel free to go back and catch up on some past episodes. We've talked about a lot of stuff. We usually have regular segments in each of the shows, so there's lots to learn in past episodes. But next month, or this month, I guess, we're going to be diving continually into ODSTs. So we'll be talking about different ODSTs in different dossiers, and we're going to talk about all the ODST specific equipment, and it should be pretty cool. So stick around, and we'll drop with you guys in March. And I think the game should be coming to Master Chief Collection this month, hopefully.
It
I don't think we have a
hasn't
date
been
yet.
confirmed, but it hasn't not been confirmed.
It would just make sense.
Yeah. Come on, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff, this is...
We're doing ODST month. We could use your help here.
Jesus. All right. So without further ado, we will see you guys next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Evolved.
Evolved.